Welcome to the Land Cave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
Hello!
And we're sitting here having fun, talking gaming, talking about all the wonderful things that happen in nerd culture and gaming things, and non-gaming stuff too. It's not always about gaming, but it's mostly about gaming. So did you hear the rumor? Well, not necessarily rumor. This is not in the notes, but Michael Keaton, did you hear about this?
About the potential for him to don the cowl once again?
Yeah. So he is in talks, but I don't know if that's like, I don't know. I mean, it's not official, and we obviously don't know if he's going to be in the cowl or it's going to be like a situation where we see like, oh, you know, he used to be Batman and now he's like, you know, what is the Batman Beyond kind of style, which would still be fine. I still think it'd be cool, but I think it's a really cool like nod to OG Batman.
That's the thing is, what do we? And when we say OG Batman, don't worry, we're not ignoring 66 Batman.
Oh no.
So when we're talking about like talks for this, like, what role is he expecting to play? Because like, if it's a Batman Beyond situation, like, I'm down, completely down, 100% down. If like he's gonna like mentor Terry McGinnis, like that's dope. But what capacity are we talking about him like coming back in?
Yeah, it's supposed to be with the Flash movie. To me, that spells out Flashpoint. Like that really resonates Flashpoint to me, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. But Flashpoint, I wouldn't mind if it is something like that. But at the same time, it did say multi-picture. It didn't say just like one. So it's more than just a cameo, or at least they're leaving the door open. So maybe they'll give him a contract, kind of like Hugo Weaving for Red Skull had a 3-picture contract with Marvel for Red Skull. He did one movie and said, I don't think they're ever going to call me back. And then when they didn't, he just broke his contract. So I mean, that's kind of funny.
There's a whole bunch of people that like don't even really like recognize that it's not him.
In Endgame.
I mean, they did a really great job, like makeup wise, and the dude that they got sounds very similar. So
yeah, he's a really good impressionist too. So, anyways, we'll talk more about that when we know more about it. But I just thought it was really cool news to have after seeing him in Birdman, after seeing him in Spider-Man Homecoming. It's going to be cool to see him back as Batman, because
he was a good Vulture. I'll say that much.
Very good Vulture. That had me. I know I've talked about it on the show before, but when he opened the door, and they purposely did that. They purposely misled you with the interracial family, because when he opens the door, immediately I'm like, oh, he kidnapped her. Like it didn't occur to me at first because of that. I don't know if I think they did it on purpose. I don't know about you.
I don't know.
It's like that subtle bias play.
Yeah, there's probably something to that.
Yeah.
But I never thought about it, to be honest with
you. Yeah, who knows? Anyways, so what have you been playing lately? You've obviously been playing Last of Us, right?
Yeah, I did start that. I got myself in the mindset. I didn't play it over the weekend. I kind of wasn't there, but you know, not just like the controversy surrounding it, but just kind of like the mood. And honestly, the mood in Texas, like Florida, I'm sure, but Texas is even worse today. It's gotten even worse. But I was like, you know what, whatever. I need to play this game. Like I want to start in on it. I'm about 7 or 8 hours in. No spoilers, obviously, but I will say that the first 3 hours is definitely some of the best pacing in a video game ever. Like I hope it sustains that pacing throughout the game, because I intended to play for an hour. My first night I was playing, I was like, all right, sun just went to bed, it's 8 o'clock, I'm gonna play for an hour and then I'm gonna get ready for bed. And then I got to a very pivotal scene, got through that scene, looked at my watch, and it was 11 o'clock. So it definitely had you for that first few hours. This next chunk is still going well. They've introduced some new elements to the style. It's definitely Naughty Dog going a little bit outside what they do while still maintaining it. And when I say that, I mean their level design is different than it normally is. But enjoying it is a hard word, because even Druckmann said that the game isn't fun. I'll disagree. I think the game's fun so far. I think that it's brutal, but I'm enjoying the things that they've done with the level design. I hope that keeps up throughout. Just there's things where, without spoiling anything, but there's a couple times where like it doesn't force you to go right. You can go left if you want to, and you might find a slightly different path. It's not like open world per se, but like you don't have to do exactly what is obvious. You can be like, oh, what's over here? Oh, cool, it's another path. Like there's those opportunities, and I like that's introduced to cool. it. But we'll see where we're at next week. And
yeah. I mean, we knew it wasn't going to be open world, but I did hear that there were more choices that could be made throughout the game, which I think is good to be able to explore more. I mean, you are on a linear story, which is honestly, that's one of the benefits of a game like this, is you are on their journey, but at the same time you have to walk that balance of like feeling like you're making those decisions, even though the character has to end up where they end up.
Yeah, and different from like the first Last of Us, where the Last of Us, like, that felt very like, this is the path you're on, you're gonna take it. That's it. There's moments where you can, like how you stealth in the first Last of Us, like you can change up how you do that, and that element is still there. But it's still just been cool to just be like, oh hey, there's a path over here. Cool. Yeah, I didn't have to go that way.
Nice. I've jumped in. I mentioned this to you. I don't think I mentioned it on the show, but I am going to be replaying all the Resident Evil games.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play them in chronological order as opposed to the release order. So I'm on Resident Evil 0. This is the events that happened before Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, obviously, because that's how time works. So I've got the chronological order. I'm going to be streaming them with commentary, and then I'll be talking about them. So it's going to be an undertaking, but this is a franchise that I've really enjoyed, and I want to talk about the different aspects of it and the different retcons as they move forward and backward, and trying to create a cohesive story. This one has a different type of T-virus. T-virus is always the virus that creates the zombies, and this one has some leeches and carapace stuff going on and different things. This is a source video I just realized that I'd snagged from somebody else, so unfortunately there are subtitles. I don't speak that many languages, but yeah, it's good stuff. The controls on this one, this is not a remake. This is a remaster, but not a remake, because they've only done remakes on 1, 2, and 3. So this one has the tank controls.
I thought that there was one for 0, but maybe I'm wrong now. I remember the remake for Resident Evil, so maybe that's the one I'm thinking of then.
Yeah, they did a remake on Resident Evil. I haven't played that one yet. Resident Evil 2's remake is amazing. They've modernized the game. This one, even though you have an option for modern controls, you are still you are either shooting your gun or walking or running, but there is no shooting while you're running, which that's the thing that a lot of people don't like about playing the early games. Obviously, part of it was for suspense. Part of it was because the game is just being able to like do this with your gun was interesting in a game. So either way, it is dated, but I'm enjoying it. But we got a lot of news.
Do you have a schedule in mind for when you're going to be streaming yet?
I'm going to be streaming every Saturday morning. I'm gonna hold myself to it. I'm going to advertise it Saturday morning. I'm going to stream. I'm going to try to stream other than that, but you will see me Saturday morning streaming Resident Evil games, and then the highlights. We don't really use Twitch much, so if you're not watching live, then go check it out on YouTube. And I am going to try to stream on Facebook, by the way.
When's that start?
So that is going to start Saturday.
Sweet.
I did it last Saturday, and I'm like, you know what? I can make this work. I can I can do this for a bit. Being an adult, out of the two of us, I don't have a kid, but being an adult, you have responsibilities, and you don't want to be like, you know what, I'm just going to seclude myself and not talk to anybody. We don't do that. So Saturday morning, between 9 and 10 a.m. Eastern, so it's a little early for those. That's 8 or 9 a.m. Central. But yeah,
and then
so that's where.
And then I'm teasing you right now because we haven't worked it out yet as to where, but I intend somewhere in the future. I'm working on a setup, and then I got to figure out a good time and day for it. But I want to do a library show where I downloaded an app called GOG, which probably people are familiar with, GOG Galaxy, and I discovered that I own about 500 video games, and there's a good chance a small chance that I haven't played probably about 400 of those games. So I want to change that. So I intend to do a show where we play for about an hour or so, decide if we're going to play any more of it, and spend some time talking about that. So I plan to stream that and then do a condensed recorded version, maybe like a 10 to 20 minute just kind of talk on what I think of library games. So if that sounds interesting to you, let me know, and I'll try and make it happen sooner than later, but we're working on that as well.
Yeah, and I know I keep talking about it, but I am going to bring up movie review stuff because I've enjoyed some of the movies that I've been watching lately, and I'm like, you know what, I got some things to say, and I think other people would find, hopefully, would find it entertaining. In old movies, new movies, a little bit of everything. But anyways,
speaking of old and new,
yeah, Crash 4. That was
old and new right there.
Old and new, man. So Whitney was a big Crash fan, but yeah. So she played the first two. I don't think she played the third one, but she did say the trailer was giving her some anxiety. So really? I think I'll have to wait. For some pure gameplay trailer. I think maybe part of it was the editing, because Crash is already kind of fast paced. Yeah. And then the editing was kind of quick, but it's so pretty and hyper colored, and I love it.
For anybody who's played the first three, Crash is not an easy game, and it has a platforming weird 3D quality to it that feels a little dated at this point, that they kept. And so I'm interested to see how a level plays. I'm also interested to see if they went modern on it and gave you a cheese mode to make it easier, because the first three games are not easy at all. But you can see whenever he's running around, there's just this quality to the platforming where why not just stick with one way? Why not do a side scroller, or why not do kind of the forward? So I respect that they kept their style. I saw that it was $60, and so I'm not going to be getting it at launch. I'm not a big enough Crash fan to be I want to play this kind of platform up front, and this isn't. If Crash is your jam. Which somebody in the chat said, I love these games. So if it crashes your jam, more power to you on that. I'm gonna wait for a sale, but it looks good. It looks modern. I love that we're getting more platformers. I like that we're getting something other than over the shoulder third person games. The more mixed up that we can get in the AAA space in terms of getting different perspectives at the AAA level, or this might be a AA game. I didn't see actually who's making it, but it looks good, but it still looks like, I don't know. Like you said, I think I need to see them play through a level, because I need to see if they've evolved or not. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I did see in the trailer that made me wonder if there's, and this is probably, I'm not one of those people who nitpicks trailers and everything, but there's a spot in here when when the what is it? I'll try to pause it when we get to it. There's a spot in here where you are jumping to avoid some circular laser, like disc laser things, and it looks like there's a verticality to this, and by that I mean you duck. It cuts right before you would have done it. I'm gonna try to pause it. I just now thought about it as we were going through it. Comes up here in a second. I promise it's in here. There's discs that come like lasers, like coming towards you, towards the screen, so you have to jump to avoid it. And I know if I like scroll through it, I'm gonna miss it. So I should have taken note on the exact time. But it made me wonder if they did evolve it, or maybe I'm just reading into things. It's coming up right here. That. So if you look right before, the green lasers look. Oh, shoot. The green lasers look like they are a little bit further down.
For those who are listening, we're also streaming the Crash 4 trailer, so you can check that out.
I promise. Yeah, here you go. Okay, sorry. Yes, thank you. So here you go. So green lasers coming at you.
Yeah.
I figured out what I was doing. See that? See how they're higher?
I see it. Yeah.
So there's a possibility that we have a duck mode, or maybe if you are not in the air, you don't get hit. It's probably that. I'm probably overthinking things. I'm not saying that we're getting to duck in here or anything. I'm not. Sure. I hate people that do that on like YouTube and stuff just to get clicks, and they're like, "Oh my god, they added a new mode," and it's like, no, you're just making up stuff. Speaking of AAA games, though, we did get an interesting thing from Sean Layden this week discussing AAA games, and they were talking about sustainability, the price point, how much it costs to actually make one of these games, and he said the problem with that model, and that model being a game costing tons of money, being $60 always. The problem with the models is not sustainable. He says, I don't think that in the next generation you can take those numbers and multiply them by 2 and think that you can grow. We're talking about games that like development costs between $80 and $150 million, and they're $60 all the time. PS5 development budgets could hit $300 million. I know it's kind of jumping around in there, but I kind of want to give you the guts of that being. The games have been $60. He says they've been $60 since he started in this industry. And you bring that up a lot, where you're like, they've been $60 for like 20 years. We haven't seen a $70, $80 game, except I think that the digital deluxe is almost like that next step. So AAA games, what he says is they either need to scale it back where you have a 15-hour experience, and you spend like 3 years on a 15-hour experience. Don't spend 5 to 10 years on an 80-hour experience, meaning those the games like Skyrim are the outliers. The majority of studios, AAA studios, should worry about short 2 to 3 year runs to recoup their money. I agree with this. I think we're already seeing a shift where you're seeing less of these games published, because you can make more money off of online games. What are your thoughts on that, though?
So for those who don't know, Sean Layden's the former CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios.
Thank you.
Up until last year, where he just kind of left. We still haven't really heard the story of what happened to him there, but he just kind of was like no longer employed. I kind of agree. The thing is that I think what he should have focused more on, not necessarily the budget price, but he should have focused on the fact that our studios are so mismanaged. Because if you look at The Last of Us 2, and the how long to beat is somewhere around 25 hours, at least that's what I've heard. I haven't actually gone and looked at howlongtobeat.com, but I think it's around 25 hours. So that's not a long game, you know. There's longer out there, but it was a $60 game. It's 25 hours. It took how long to make, and how many, like, you know, that's probably one of the most expensive games ever made, probably. You know, sure. I don't think they've actually revealed the budget, but let's put that as the top thing. So length didn't necessarily affect the cost of that game. That was, you know, there's other people who have come out and talked about how it was mismanaged. There's people who have talked about where the project management is not there. I think there's definitely some truth to what he says. Obviously, he knows this industry way better than we do. I just don't know if length is necessarily the only thing to focus on here. I'm totally down with 10 to 15 hour experiences, and if they're dope, awesome. But whenever I think about AAA games and I think about the length of some of the greats from the past few years, we look at Spider-Man. Spider-Man was like 25, 30 hours. God of War was
I thought it was like a little bit around 30 or so. I may be wrong.
Beats.
I mean,
for those you don't know, How Long to Beat like one of the best websites of all time. Main story 20 and a half hours. So okay, that one's that's a little bit tighter, and that's if you're not completionist, if you're just like chugging through the story. So, and I think you can beat Spider-Man sooner than I did too. I platinumed it, but there's definitely some truth to what he's saying, and I'm totally down with the cycle. What I'm more wondering is what you already mentioned that I bring up all the time is who's willing to price a game above $60. It's such an industry standard. It's such an expectation. Somebody's got to do it. And I'm looking at you, Ubisoft. I say you are the people. You put so much gameplay into Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
It's true.
I've heard nothing but great things. There's some people who have mentioned it's a little grindy, but in terms of value for their dollar, that we're talking 100-hour plus experience there. You can buy that game right now for $20 and get over 100 hours of AAA quality gameplay. You're going to tell me that was $60 at launch? That game should be more based on what they did. The same thing with Origins too, where they put in that educational mode, like something that didn't even have anything to do with gameplay. Like you're talking about a studio that puts that much time and effort into creating these amazing all-around experiences. I'm not going to try and stifle you on how long a game should be, but I'm going to say you should be willing to charge more for it, and people should be willing to pay it because you put out a product that was worth $70. That's what I want to see. I think The Last of Us could have sold for $70. I bought the $70 version because of the steel book. It came with like an art book and some other stuff. I don't care about that art book. It's going to sit on the shelf up there and probably be looked at once. I got it because of the steel book, but I paid $70 for the game. I paid $70 for Final Fantasy. I paid $70 for a few other games, all because I just wanted an extra stupid little piece of, fake steel around my disc. But I would be willing to pay that anyway for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I got 50 amazing hours out of that game. That's what I want to know. Is not necessarily are we going to make games shorter and therefore focusing on the budget. I want to know when somebody's going to be willing to change. And I know I went on a rant here, but I want to know when somebody's going to charge $70.
I agree. I was going to say the other people. I mean, I could put Rockstar in that camp if they would get to making the next GTA. We're not going to be able to charge a $70 or $80 for another 5, but GTA 6, I could see them doing something like that. I could see the next Elder Scrolls as well, because we're talking about 100 to 200 plus hours that you could play on some of these games.
Red Dead 2
will
$70 for that game.
Totally would have paid $70 for that game. We'll get off that rant. But speaking of studios, we did have a studio buyout. We had a couple different buyouts going on. Let's talk with the studios first. We had, I just had that in front of me. Ready at Dawn just got bought out. Ready at Dawn did the Order 1886. They did Lone Echo. They have been acquired by Facebook.
The Facebook making moves. So I actually haven't played the Lone Echo because it is a VR series, but apparently they think there's 3 of them now. And then if you're watching the video right now, we're showing one of the original ambitious PS4 games in the Order 1886. I think this is a big move for Facebook. I was hoping for an 1886 too, like the Order 1887 or something. I was kind of hoping that they would get another crack at it, but I don't think that's ever going to happen now.
I don't think so either. I mean, it is a great game. It's a great experience that I think a lot of people, were on the fence about playing. Again, it's a shorter game, but it is an experience. You can grab this for dirt cheap, by the way, used. So if you haven't played it, you totally should. It's a really good experience, and it is early PS4, but the storytelling, the graphics still look pretty darn good for it being an early PS4 game. This is Facebook was already saying they were getting into gaming, but this is another studio that they've purchased, and that kind of segues into the other news, because it does actually add up. Is Mixer is no more. Mixer going away, and basically folding into Facebook gaming, streaming, and that. I felt like this was one of the most monumental money waste for any company. It's definitely a company that can afford to lose money. Microsoft can afford to lose money, but when we saw people like Ninja walking out and saying he's going to move to Mixer, he was given, I don't think they straight up said how much, but it was tens of millions of dollars.
20 to 30 million.
Yeah, and then Shroud probably didn't get that much, but Shroud moved over there, and I'm really glad that you did further digging on this, because they get to keep that money, and they don't have to go
keep it.
They don't have to go to Facebook. They could go right back to Twitch. They could retire. They could retire, man.
Yeah, so this is what was totally crazy to me. At first, I was like, man, because I follow a streamer. I followed a streamer over to Mixer. I still watch Twitch and stuff, but there's one specific streamer that I love a lot. I love his vibe. He's a dad like me. He's got 3 kids and stuff, and just a really cool dude. And I followed him over there, and it turns out they were offered by Facebook to continue, and both Shroud and Ninja turned it down and just took a contract buyout, because Microsoft still had that contract, so they have to pay, man, because for all intents and purposes, Ninja and Shroud fulfilled their end of the bargain. They were there till the end. So Shroud, the rumor was that he was somewhere between 5 and 10 million, and then Ninja was between 20 and 30. So they're allowed to take that money and go do whatever they want. They both turned Facebook down, so they're probably either going to be on YouTube or Twitch. The streamer that I follow, King Gathalion, he actually did take the Facebook deal and went over to Facebook, which was cool. So I've been checking out the Facebook UI. We obviously stream on facebook.com/TheLanCave every Thursday night at 7:30. Feel free to drop by. I think it's cool that Facebook they gave an avenue to those Mixer streamers, because the Mixer partners outside of those big dogs, they got screwed, dude. There was rumors and truths that a lot of these people found out on Twitter that they no longer had a job. They found out on Twitter that Mixer was closing. They found out in a Discord that they could go over to Facebook if they wanted to. This was not handled well from a Microsoft perspective. I'm a little bit disappointed by the company that we've been giving so many kudos to in terms of what they've been doing with their console and Game Pass and so on, that they would be willing to do this to their streaming arm. Not just from the waste of money perspective. It's just, this wasn't cool. The guy that I follow, he said that he found out late last week, and while that's good for him, it didn't sound like a lot of the partners found out until it happened on I think Monday. It stinks. Good that Facebook really is like, hey, come over, but there are people who that's a lot of people's livelihoods, and there's people who work for Mixer proper, the office staff that just don't have a job anymore. And
I agree. And the one of the things, I'm gonna just audio real quick because I'm fixing something, but one of the things that that's important to kind of talk about when it comes to that is we're talking about their closing Mixer, and I believe it is 3 weeks. It's less than a month of how quickly that's going to be going. So that's, I think, the big the big thing that I think some people may not understand, like why people are so upset, is because it's happening so quickly that it's not like, oh well, you've got some time to adjust, you've got some time to go to something else. It's like, no, you don't have a choice, you don't have time, you are stuck where you're going. So I was bringing up chat to make sure I had that, by the way. But yeah, I think that was the biggest part, was to say, like, your job exists because streaming is a job for some people, and it's like, basically, hey, your job and your viewers and all of the stuff that you have curated yourself, you got 3 weeks, less than a month, to find a way out and make sure your viewers go with you. So that's the part that's kind of crazy to me. So I wish them luck, but yeah, it's crazy. I get why they didn't want to straight up announce it, but if they had said, hey, we're planning on closing it by the end of the year, that gives people more time, because this is people's livelihood at this point.
Yeah. Thoughts out to those people. It's already like a hard time in the world already, and not that streaming is not an easy job, y'all. We only do it once a week, and it's hard for even like Patrick and myself. Patrick does the lion's share of the work, to be honest. I just show up and look pretty, but this isn't easy what those people do every day. You can say they play video games for a living, but like, they play video games for a living for not a lot of money. They're just doing it because they love it and they found something that works for them. So it's tough. So hopefully lots of people find their way, success on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook, and Microsoft do better than that. You're better than this.
You are. Speaking of playing games online, I'm going to segue. I've been jumping all around, by the way. Our notes in here, like we have our notes like lined up, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to find a segue. Speaking of talking about playing games online, we got Pokemon Unite announced, which I forgot that you were going to be in here. I'm going to try to add you on here. I had not seen this, by the way.
Oh, really?
So I was gonna purposely and do this kind of on the fly. I was going to do this like a quick reaction to it, and Owen gets to be here with me
today.
So
I want you to do something though, and look at the number of likes and thumbs up and thumbs down on this video.
Take a look at this video.
Oh, sure. I'm sure they're nuts. So this is already downloaded, so I'll have to look at it in just a second. But I know what it is already. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna bring it up. Apologize if this is a little too loud in the comments. Try to adjust it here too, to make sure you can still hear us and you can hear the background. So I love that it's like, hey, you get to battle together, and here's the history of Pokemon. That's cool. But trying to draw, I like that.
How long is the trailer that you downloaded?
Oh, that's a good point.
Because the event was like 12 minutes.
It's 12 minutes. So, you know what? How far does it go? Okay. Really?
What do you think?
Okay, I get it's a MOBA. Right?
I watched it live, so.
I get it's a MOBA.
I'm happy to announce
but
the first strategic.
The graphics look like trash.
Pokemon
Unite. Look really trash.
With Tencent.
I don't, and it's Tencent. I already heard about that, so I'll just skip it forward just a little bit, I guess. Is they're just going to talk, or are we going to see? Okay, here we go.
They do like an example fight, and they show you how the game works.
Okay, so this is Switch. Is it Switch and mobile?
Switch and mobile crossplay.
Pokemon learns as it levels up. Focus on close range attacks.
Okay, so
to optimize for long range capabilities. Even with the same Pokemon, you can choose how you want to battle. Once you reach a high enough level, you can unlock moves unique to this game called Unite moves. Some can deal a lot of damage.
We've had so many games. We've had so many Pokemon games come out, and I'm not even talking about the fact that I don't like MOBAs. Like just the graphics.
Yeah. Okay.
It feels like, and I know it's on Switch, and I know it's on mobile, but we've got mobile games that came out like 8 years ago, 8 or 10 years ago. That were better than this. Maybe it's the amount of players playing at the same time causes some constraint.
Teamwork is very in order to defeat your opponents.
I like, the teamwork aspect. That's cool. You mentioned something in the comments. I'm sure they mentioned on here. So there's no type advantage.
Correct.
On this?
It's all about class based. Basically, if you never played a MOBA, there's different types of characters in a MOBA where like there's attack, there's support, there's the defensive aspects. So instead of type advantages and stuff, it'll be more about picking like whose attack. You saw Snorlax in there, and you saw if you saw in the video there, Snorlax had that big shield up, and so like it says to me that like Snorlax is probably gonna be like a tank. Yeah, exactly. And then like somebody like a Charizard or something will probably be more like some attack. And if I was guessing, I would guess that Venusaur would be like more support. Who knows? It's tough to say. Or look at Clefable. Like Clefable to me, that screams support. So instead of type advantages, it's going to be about attack type,
which I appreciate. You'll probably have within the tanks, within your DPS, within your support. You probably have different things that are benefits of one versus another. But I know they're concentrating on balance, but that's odd for the Pokemon franchise to not have type advantage. But I totally get it, because you could end up paired up against a team that's like all or majority like fire based, and you got like no water or anything to combat, or you're plant based and you're just going to burn up. So did they mention a price on this?
Free start.
Okay, which obviously we hate that term, because but at the same time, that does at least tell me at least I can try it and figure out if I'm actually going to dig it, because I've not been hooked by any MOBAs. I've tried them and it just wasn't my thing.
I literally said if there's a MOBA, aside from Final Fantasy, because a Final Fantasy MOBA could probably also hook me, but aside from Final Fantasy, if there's a MOBA like franchise that could get me in, it's Pokemon. So my initial thoughts here, I get why it's a mobile game. I'm kind of worried about the Switch being a touchscreen thing, because if anybody downloaded Pokemon Cafe this week and you played it on Switch, which I don't recommend, by the way, it's a fun little game. Your kids would probably like it if you have them, but it's touchscreen only. There's no controls, and I hate that. And so if Pokemon Unite is a similar thing, I'm not going to be happy. I want to use a controller. Like that's one reason. That's another reason why I've never been a MOBA guy, is because there's not. I know that there is now. I always forget the name of it, but there's like one particular like MOBA that's apparently decent on console, but there's no big good console MOBAs. Like LOL has never been ported. I know that Riot is working on one. I believe it's called like League of Legends Fire or something. Yeah, I'm probably botching that, but so I want controls. If it's touchscreen though, I'm going to be a little upset. I'm kind of in though. I'm definitely in to start. The fact that it's free tells me the model is going to be buying other Pokemon to play as. Like that's how League of Legends is. For those of you who don't know, League of Legends is free to play. You can play right now for free. But you buy characters. And so that's totally going to be the model. This game is going to make so much money in Asia. It's going to be ridiculous. Like,
gotta catch them all.
I'm saying $1 billion easy, if not more, for this game is going to happen. If it's any kind of good.
Sure. And if it is good, I just wasn't happy with the graphics.
Sure.
And I'm saying that as someone who I was, not that I was completely disappointed, but the what was it? The Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu. I felt like that was like it was a little lacking, but I'm like, it's Switch, it's not too bad. This looks considerably worse though. It looks worse though in regards to it looks chunky. It looks like, insert meme about, trying to look at pixels there, because you could see the pixelation, especially in the outline, which you'd think that if they did a cell shading or something, they could smooth that out. But I'm going to try it. I love Pokemon. Don't get me wrong. I love Pokemon, but we'll see. Yeah, you're right. It's going to make a lot of money.
I didn't hate it. It's so the up and down, by the way, because a lot of people, I want to talk about this for just a second. It has 81,000 likes and 146,000 dislikes.
Oh.
So a lot of people. So what happened is last week, Pokemon Company puts out an announcement. They give us the Pokemon Cafe thing. They mentioned Pokemon Snap, which was to me the bigger announcement. And then they said, if we got more Pokemon news next week. And it came next week. And then they sent out a tweet that says, hey, you want more Pokemon news? We got more Pokemon news tomorrow. And you people, and I'm gonna say you people, you Pokemon fans, you Nintendo fans, need to calm down. You need to stop having these expectations that they are just never ever going to meet outside of Breath of the Wild 2, because that game's going to be amazing. Just stop it, because you just set yourself up to hate this stuff. Like, I went in this with no expectations. People were like, I expected another Pokemon gen, and I'm like, they just came out with Sword and Shield DLC. It just came out. It's just Sword and Shield, say it 3 times fast. DLC came out, I think, a week ago? They are not.
Didn't Sword and Shield just come out last week? Didn't Sword and Shield come out last year? Sorry, last year?
Yeah, last year, and then the DLC just came out this last week.
Exactly.
No, so they're not going to announce a new gen.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what I was going to say. It's like, we just got this generation. Pokemon it's not Call of Duty. You're not getting new Pokemon every year. You're not getting it every other year. You're gonna get it. The next Pokemon prediction, next gen Pokemon is gonna come out on the next Nintendo platform. That's my prediction, because we just had Sword and Shield. I don't think they're gonna cook out a proper gen Pokemon between then and now, in my opinion. But I think you hit it right on the head. The bigger game to announce, and maybe they didn't, maybe that's just us from our bias, but I think the bigger game to announce is Pokemon Snap. Yeah. At the same time, they probably looked at this and said, this is going to make us more money. Sure. It's going to make us more money. Pokemon Snap set the internet on fire last week. This did the opposite.
I think that they should have done this last week and Snap this week, and I think that the reactions would have been considerably different. I know that from the fan base, a lot of people also thought that we were getting a Diamond and Pearl remake. I still expect that to happen. I just don't expect that to happen this year. As said in the chat here, they want to have Sword, and I keep saying Sword. I'm just going to call it Sword. They want to have Sword go for a few years. So you're not going to get a new gen. The remake, though, is going to come after, like, when there's been a lull. They're not going to do anything with a regular Pokemon game the second that a DLC is going to come out. They've sold 17 million copies of Sword. They're not ready to move on just yet. So I get the disappointment. I get that Pokemon Company should have flipped them. I think Pokemon Snap is a way better announcement for the second week, but this wasn't that bad. And honestly, people are like, they hype us up for nothing. I'm like, they didn't hype anything. The only thing that they said was they did the Japanese meme. Please look forward to it. And if you don't know that meme, look it up. It's something that is said by literally everybody, where they just it's like, we have an announcement coming. Please look forward to it. There was nothing that I got out of that was like, oh my goodness, they're gonna blow the doors off the place. And at this point, guys, if you haven't figured it out, this franchise is for kids. They don't really care about you that much anymore. They have the #1 brand. We've talked about it on the show. They have the most valuable brand in the entire world. They don't care.
I was gonna say, insert that Freddie Prinze Jr. Rant about Star Wars, where he's like, "This is for kids," but it's great, but it's also for kids. But yes, Pokemon Pokemon should not grow to fit the adults. Pokemon should be there. It should be like, like it is not the Japanese version of Mickey Mouse, but it should be like that, where it continues to have the next generation get to pick it up the way that I know you're going to view Zelda. Like, you're going to be having, like, Ted's going to be playing some Zelda games, like probably some of the first games he's going to play. Zelda and Mario, like, start him out right. And I think that Pokemon is in that same league. So anyways, we'll get off that soapbox. Let's talk about today. We do a lot of soapboxes, but we talked about talking about things that we grew up with. Star Wars being something that is for kids, and EA is doubling down, is what they said. They were doubling down on their commitment with Star Wars. They didn't straight up say what that meant, but it was more about the how should I put this? It was their, like, intent, and they felt that Disney's been behind the properties. Disney's been behind what EA's been doing. And honestly, with what they did with Jedi Fallen Order, I'm not against what they're doing. Battlefront 2 was really good too. So, and I'm hopeful on Squadrons. That's why I had to put.
They fixed it. They fixed
it. Yes, they fixed it. And if they get back on the right track, and with Squadrons, I feel like Squadrons, they're saying all the right things. They're saying all the right things on Squadrons to make me feel like it's going to be fun, and it's priced at $40. I keep saying that because that's a really good price for this game. I mean, if you play this and you play 20 hours of this game, you've gotten your money's worth. I mean, if you play 10 hours, you got your money's worth at this point. But I'm going to play a lot more.
Yeah, give me Old Republic remake.
Yes.
I want that. Give me a new Old Republic, maybe in like 5 or 6 years after we get another Jedi Fallen Order 2. Like, I don't know. I don't, like you. I don't really know what doubling down means either from a company like EA, when we've mentioned this before on this very podcast, where they've had this IP for a number of years, and they just now started putting out, like, just now I mean the last couple of years, but they just now started putting out great content with it. I don't know what took them so long, but if you keep having people like Respawn doing it, I actually don't know who's making Squadrons. EA Motive, who I have not heard of.
EA Motive, okay, interesting.
I think they might be new. If you're ready to start bringing me some dope content, like Patrick mentioned, you did right fixing Battlefront 2. You realize that that's not what that game, you can't do that with, like, you're already going to make so much money off Star Wars if you don't screw everybody with microtransactions. They've mentioned it again with Squadrons here. Theoretically, I'll believe it when I see it, but they said that there's no microtransactions in the game, or at least no pay to win. Jedi Fallen Order was a one-player experience. You have now 3 in a row where I'm like, all right, EA, I'm with you for right now. So hopefully doubling down means that they're going to treat their IP better than J.J. Abrams does.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of treating IPs better than J.J. Abrams, or treating them better than certain studios, let's talk about the possibility of a Suicide Squad game. Because the Suicide Squad movie was trash. So so the rumor is that okay,
was I wrong about that?
I won't get on a soapbox about it. It wasn't bad, but it was, well, you're talking about Birds of Prey.
Oh,
which
sorry.
They haven't done a.
No, right?
It's Sam Harley Quinn, yeah. So that's why I was like, it's almost a suicide. It's a Harley Quinn movie. That behind the scenes this did come out. Behind the scenes, they basically said, we need to make the next Deadpool, and Harley Quinn will be the next Deadpool. And if you watch that movie thinking that, you're like, I totally get what they were trying to go for here, and doesn't work for the character. Anyways, but having a Suicide Squad game done by Rocksteady has shown care and love for definitely the DC, the Batman franchise. Rumor has been for quite a while that they've been working on a Superman game, which may be happening, but we got some domains that were just purchased that lead us to believe that a Suicide Squad game is next, or at least being worked on. I'm trying to pull those up now because I had them in front of me. But the names of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was one of them, and Gotham Knights game was another, which may be unrelated. But yeah, either way, I just loved that.
The Gotham Knights game is a separate one. That is probably because we've heard of, there was the tweets about the Court of Owls.
Yes.
That is WB Montreal, so that one is probably like 100%.
Sorry about that.
Happening. So that's probably that game. The other one, though, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't thrilled to see this. Only like I know that Rocksteady straight out came and said we're not working on a Superman game. I was kind of hoping they were lying. Just from like a totally like, man, our cover's blown. Like let's just lie. Let's just tell them no, because it's not like Nintendo and other companies that have done that. Like Nintendo's like, we're not working on another Switch. Oh, what's this Switch Lite that just came out last year? Also, it's mainly just because I really don't care about the Suicide Squad that much. I think I get it that it's cool. I get, Deadshot. I've never cared for Harley Quinn as a character. I don't like her that much. I like other ones more than her. I couldn't name very many of the Suicide Squad. Rocksteady makes great games, and so that's where I'm still in. But I'm not gonna lie to you that I was disappointed that this was the game that they got, because after they said they weren't working on a Superman, I was like, okay, maybe they're working on a Justice League game. But that doesn't appear.
That would be cool.
Case, either. Well, and again, this isn't confirmed. This is just based off of domains being bought, but the writing's kind of on the wall there.
I would rather play a Justice League game. I would totally rather play a Justice League game. I would like to play a game where, to show the strengths of these characters. I mean, we've had some really good Batman games. There have been some decent Superman games. Obviously Superman 64 is terrible, but the Superman Returns game wasn't actually that bad. It was on PlayStation 2. Wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. But taking characters and kind of doing what we just had, which I didn't put in here. I thought I'd put it in here, but the Marvel Avengers, they did have a trailer this week and talk about Marvel Avengers game that's coming out, and being able to play these characters and seeing the strengths of them. Being able to do that with Justice League would be really cool. So you would have Superman flying. You'd also have Green Lantern flying, but he obviously has a different power set. So I think it'd be cool to be able to tell the story with these different characters. Maybe that's going to happen at some point. I feel like Suicide Squad and anti-heroes aren't as cool as they used to be in the late 90s, early 2000s. That was like all the thing, and I'm gonna thank Stone Cold Steve Austin for that. But I feel like it's kind of like jaded at this point. We're like, okay, we get it, you're the bad guy, but we're rooting for you. Like, we get it. So I don't know.
That's where I wonder what's gonna happen with Black Adam, because The Rock painted Black Adam like he's this anti-hero, and I'm like, Black Adam's a bad dude. I've never known him to be an anti-hero unless they've rewritten the character recently. But to me, Black Adam's a bad guy, and so whenever The Rock called Black Adam an anti-hero, I was like, and so me though, my stance on I don't root for the bad guys generally. I think I don't like the Punisher. Hate that guy. I hate that character so much. I hate the Punisher. I really don't like saying that word. I've watched the show. It was a really well done Netflix series that people should watch, but I hate the Punisher as a character. I like good guys. That's just my, I just like good guys. I get that there's people that like the bad guys or the people who toe the line. I think there's a lot of room for that. It's just whenever I saw Rocksteady and I saw this, I was like, but at the end of the day, I had to stop myself and be like, Rocksteady makes great games. Arkham Knight aside.
Arkham Knight wasn't that bad. Arkham Origins was well, never mind. They didn't do. Sorry. They didn't do Arkham Origins. Apologies. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But like you said, Rocksteady's rock solid. So last up here, and as we kind of finished out, did you watch the New Game Plus expo?
No, no, that's not true. I tuned in for about 20 minutes and I saw Anime Fest, and I'm a big JRPG guy. Everybody,
Sure.
I mean, at least square wise. But I wasn't seeing anything that really stood out to me. I think that they botched a terrible thing in like saying, "Hey, Atlas is gonna be here. Atlas is gonna be here." So you know what everybody thought was gonna happen? Persona 6. What?
Yeah.
did Persona 6 happen? No, we got Catherine Full Body on Switch
Again.
and
yeah.
while Catherine Full Body's known to be a great game, it's come out. It's at this point in terms of if you were trying to think of like a comparison, not in terms of like how popular it is, because it's still a very popular game, but if you were talking about a comparison to how many things it's launched on, just think about like Skyrim. Like at this point, like Catherine Full Body has been on effing everything, and now it's coming to Switch. And that was their big Sega Atlas announcement. They're like, Sega and Atlas, and I was like, all right, Persona and maybe something else, and then Catherine Full Body on Switch. And at that point, I was not upset, but I was very tuned out.
Exactly, and that's kind of what my takeaway was. I actually listed I listed it, and I was like, I'm not going to go through all these. I listed all the things on there, but
one stood out to me.
What's that one stood out to you? What was that?
Yeah. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2. I'm in.
Yeah, no, that one's good. Because one of them was like, and there were some other things that I feel like could be worth someone's time. My takeaway from the event was, and yes, it's a very, very Japanese. I mean, it's all Japanese developers. They said Japan and North America, but what they meant is like Japan and the North American branches of the Japanese games, the Japanese developers. My takeaway was this, not for everybody, but if you have a niche, especially a niche within a niche, they probably covered it here. You've got fighting crabs. You have idol manager, where you're as a management simulator for an idol band, like a boy band. They had spoopy but also kind of cute like games going on, like you had pretty princesses. I mean, there was like I'm saying halfway joking, but it was like something for everybody. And then they had a Samurai Showdown adding For Honor in their DLC. That's cool. So like I felt like every time that I saw something, I was like, that's interesting for someone who really likes that. And it's not me, but good for them. And I felt like I just kept saying good for them, like in my mind over and over.
There's a new Harvest Moon.
New Harvest Moon. Yeah, I guess I forgot to put that on. Harvest Moon, that was chill. That was really cool. And like I said, of the games that were on there, there were some that I was like, that's good. And then some that there was one on there which I meant to queue up here. I didn't expect. By the way, I was possibly going to solo tonight, so we're not quite as ready as we used to be. There was one that they showed. It was a 12-second trailer. 5 seconds of it was a still, and they just zoomed in on the still. That's it.
It's quality.
That's it. Yeah, it was quality, and it confused me to the point I'm literally gonna drop it in here really quick, because I'm
interested in looking at I'm looking at this Harvest Moon One World debut trailer.
That's fine. We can multitask. So when they mentioned it, I'm just making sure I still have it. Come on, I have to have it. They mentioned it. I'm just going to go over to me so that I can talk while I'm vamping and stuff. They mentioned a game, and because a lot of the stuff that they were showing was very quick. They would have like 30, 45 seconds or something like that, and then someone would come on for what they referred to as an intermission or what have you every now and then, like explain what the game actually was. This one that was the
other thing too, is that I probably was in the stream for like 25 minutes, and I'm like working at the same time, so I can't pay full on attention, but I was like, when's the last time anybody said anything? It just seemed like it was going from trailer to trailer, and sometimes people talk too much, and the voiceover, but sometimes people don't talk enough. And in this case, with small games like this, like, I think it could have used a little bit more voiceover, at least to tell me some things, like, hey, here's a game that is for farming, here's a game that's for platforming, here's a fighting game. Like, at least allow me to peek up every once in a while, where it's like, if there's certain keywords where if I hear, it's like, oh cool, I'll check that out. I want to watch this 1 minute trailer. And also I feel bad for if you don't know, I don't know if you watched it live or not, but it crashed at the beginning, so they actually had to restart and so on. So I felt bad for the people running it. That stunk. Okay,
that sucks. Okay, I queued it up because here it is in its entirety, no editing.
What game is this?
Here we go.
Asura? Is that what?
Escape from Asura. That's it.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna play it again because it's that short.
Quality. For those of you who are listening, you can check out. You can watch along.
And that's why you got to watch us live. So, Escape from Asura. I saw people online who were like, "I think this is a port of this other Japanese game that they didn't. If it's renamed, nobody was excited for this, and the fact that it was a fight, it didn't even show me why I should be excited for this. It wasn't. It made the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer look amazing, is what I got to say. But other than that, there was cool stuff for people that wanted the thing that they were showing. They had more of the Ys, whatever, I think it's pronounced Ys. They had more of that series, like another one of those. So there was something there for a lot of people. Not a lot for me, but yeah, I appreciated the tight format. 'Cause it was 42 minutes long in total.
I'm glad that you mentioned Harvest Moon, so that was a trailer for me to check out. For those of you who, whenever we're talking about Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, that is the Castlevania style. For those who don't know, there's Bloodstained, which is the Metroidvania, then there's Curse of the Moon, which was a Castlevania style game. Really tight, really good, 8-bit looking game. So they're making a second one of that. That trailer looked cool, and then I watched this Harvest Moon thing while Patrick was pulling up, and I think that I would probably rather just play what's the super uber popular farming game that has been
not Farming Simulator.
No, that's been around forever. Or not
Stardew
forever.
Valley.
There you go. I think I'd rather just play Stardew.
Yeah, I didn't think this didn't look bad, but it didn't look amazing. And it says game footage not final. Okay, I get it, but
this is final. This is how the game is going to look. This is how the game is going to look.
Yeah. Which it's cute. It's cute, sure. And like I said, that was my takeaway. It's something in there you may like, you may not, but someone out there, every one of those games, someone out there went, that's cool. I want to play that. So,
you remember when we were sad that E3 was going to get canceled, and that we wouldn't have any game news this summer?
Dude, we were down. We were depressed. And we've got so much gaming news, so much stuff going on. So check us out next week when we're going to have more news, and hopefully our brains don't melt by something crazy. I don't think it's happening next week. I give it within 4 weeks. Within a month, we will know the price of both next-gen consoles.
Okay, I'll take that bet. I also there's. I didn't put this in the news docket there, and I forget exactly what it was, but look out for an Xbox event, probably first week of July.
Yes, which is why
I expect that now imminently. There was a tweet or something that was out there that just made it kind of apparent that it's coming soon, and so I expect Xbox to blink first week of July. I expect to hear a price of Series X during that event. Sony won't do it yet. Sony doesn't have to do it, but they should at this point. But I'll take that. I think a fun one would be, say, just to end this show today, how soon after the first company announces a price does the other company announce the price?
Okay.
What do you think?
Okay, so it's 2020. Okay, every day is like a week.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it is less than 72 hours. It's going to be that quick.
I was going to say 48.
It may be even quicker. Okay, I was going to say, first I was going to say 48. I'm like, it's 72. Yeah, so 40. You say 48, I say 72. So if it's over 48, whatever. Either way, we'll still get partial credit. But I feel like we're in that environment now where Sony could tweet in response to, like, within an hour, and could be like, "Oh, that's your price? Us too." Like, we could totally have that kind of situation going on.
I feel like Sony's not even going to bother doing an event about it. I feel like they're going to have another event on PS5, but in terms of pricing, I feel like they're just going to be like, and pre-orders are now live
right now, and then and Microsoft better have their red finger ready to hit that button, have Xbox pre-orders going live, and then Amazon will crash and Target will crash. I was in Target the other day. I was literally in Target the other day, and someone was asking the Target employee, like, do you know when the pre-orders are going to happen? He's like, we have no idea. We think that it's going to be out by Black Friday, but we don't even know that because we're all speculating. The managers don't know. And like, he was telling them like things he shouldn't have told them. He's like, we've been briefed that it's going to happen. It's probably going to happen within this time, but that's all of our speculation and all of Target's speculation because the Target manager doesn't know. They're not going to tell that person. And they were like, what's the price? Like, we don't know. It could be $5. We don't know. And I'm that guy, so I pipe in and I'm like, PlayAsia had that $700 pre-order, and the jaws dropped. The jaws dropped when I mentioned that. They were like, are you serious? I'm like, no, it's not gonna be that much. I really don't think it's gonna be.
And my co-host locked it in at $700.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what I said. So anyways, let us know in the comments when you think this is going to come out. What did you think of Pokemon Unite? Do you think that do you think it's going to be worth it? It's going to make money. It's just a question of, is it going to be worth the time? It's free to start, so check it out.
Two events we didn't talk about that we're probably going to talk about next week with Cyberpunk and Avengers. So don't think that we haven't did it. There was just a lot of content here. So the Cyberpunk event was today. Avengers, I think, was yesterday. There was already a lot to unpack. So we'll get to it. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll get there. See you next time.
Bye.